Okay, if there's no other questions on this, then we would give it back to Domjay for the last part.
All right. So what I'm calling the VL.NodeGen is a way to generate like little nodes using AI. Uh, the idea came about and the motivation we were like jamming around with a friend and trying to control a 3D printer, this Delta 3D printer that is like 3 arms, and you have to calculate like very in like a special way those positions like positions of the motors to get a specific like Cartesian position of the print head. And I was like, I'm not gonna patch that. And let's try to generate it. So I started talking to ChatGPT and like have it understand, and then it didn't really. So I fed it the PDF that described this whole process, and then it understood how to do it, and then I asked it to generate it, basically based on this basic template that you get when you create a C# node inside of vvvv. And in the end, it basically worked. Except we couldn't find we couldn't find the dimensions for the printer, but like generally, okay, I got the node and it worked and it was really nice. So I thought, we can write files, we can communicate with the ChatGPT API directly from vvv Gamma. So why not have that as a node that can make more nodes, right? So so this is what I'm about to show. That is the NodeGen. There's also a small, very, very simple integration of the ChatGPT, like OpenAI API inside that is also a separate library that's published now. But basically, the way it works, you give a prompt. What do I want to do? And we get a node. I will show a few examples, and in the meantime, you can think of something what maybe you could get. You can. It's good for anything that you want to make some calculations. You were describing, you want some math, but it's really bad in patches. You can already do that in C# in vvv, no problem. Since what is it? Since 5.2, 5.05. You can just create a C# file, generate a C# like solution project, and it will get compiled automatically. So all of the heavy lifting is already like inside of vvvv. What I'm doing is like I'm generating the code and saving it in the right place. So here's one example based on a time parameter, written an animation that is representing breath. Right? I asked it to not repeat it entirely. I'm not sure it hit this time. I think other attempts that I had, there was like a variation parameter that it came up with. But basically, you see, I get a time. Here to visualize it, I created like a linear spread of time. So right, I have like a whole kind of time graph, and you can see this is the kind of function it came up with. It's not like a sine wave exactly. It's more like, right, and that's nice. That's nice. Like if you were trying to patch that, maybe it would take a moment. When I open it, it opened the CS project. I don't know why. Not the patch itself. Right. This was the code it generated. Okay, we got some breath duration. Could be also a parameter, but it's not. Then it came up with some easing function, and gives us the breath. Then I tried some string processing. Right. It doesn't have to be animation. It doesn't have to be just numbers. Something that I also felt would be maybe slightly annoying to patch, but in general, like it could be any string processing. I asked it to create the standard kind of shift cipher, very, very old school cipher that is very easy to break, but it's also very easy to generate. And it created this encrypt string node that can shift in the alphabet, and it's not entirely trivial when you're handling some strings. So it also handled just some right? It just checks like all this kind of annoying stuff that you maybe would take a moment to write, but here it is right away. And I'm showing shifting 3 forward, shifting 3 backward. We get back to the same thing. I asked it to surprise me with some nice animation based on the time parameter.
Make a dinner for me.
Yeah, I mean, we can ask that. Right, and it created this thing called animation helper. And inside of it did something that just does kind of sine waves, like does some degree calculation in this spiral, which was actually nice. Gives some speed, so some expansion rate. We can play with the parameters. Let me scroll this. No, yeah, right. No. All right, so it's different speed, so I have a different shape. It looks like a snail or something. And I asked also, I gave it in the prompt, and I will show the prompt template in a second. It knows how to properly use the like vector types of vvvv, right? So it includes straight mathematics. It's using the I enumerable, basically the instructions that are in the Greybook documentation. It has a piece of that. So you can ask it, okay, create a star shape with number of ends, inner and outer radius as input and vector tool as output. And this is the star node, right? That comes with vvv. I think in VV you have like two more parameters, but basically, okay, we have this, we have the inner, we have the outer, we get a sequence of vector twos, and when we visualize them as a polygon, we get a star. And lastly, it was 2 days ago, another jam with another friend, and he's really into boids. It was like, can it make boid simulation? Simulate boid movement iteratively in using vector 2, use 2 output arguments for position and velocities, ensure that you stick to this is already part of the regular prompt, but if I didn't do that, ensure that you stick to the template, implement all functions, do not use placeholders. It just went like ... like implementation here. We don't want that. It's part of the prompt. So if I restart it, we can see the boid simulation running. Yeah. Right, these are boids. They're flying somewhere, but they're basically getting set with all this. There's a few nice parameters. We have separation distance, cohesion strength, alignment strength. Alignment strength is like if they will keep going in the same direction. Separation strength, how far they're gonna be, or the distance. Cohesion strength, if I do this too much, they're gonna kind of like stick together, and now they're just flying with some fixed spaceship somewhere. So and this one, if we look inside, it's much like that's the most complex of them all. I didn't show the star first, right? It's kind of simple. It does some basic trigonometry kind of calculations to do the circle, inner circle, outer circle. And in the boid simulation, it's also, if you tell it, it's can do out parameters, so we get to outputs. And basically now we have this nicely clean code in like factored into specific alignment calculation, cohesion calculation, separation, and all of that comes together to do the boid simulation. It's all one shot, meaning that I can just give it like one prompt, and I'm not exposing like a full chat and like improvement. It could be, you can feedback the file. This is just the very first version. But for even like for more complex things, I would maybe suggest just do it in ChatGPT, like in a chat. You can feed in files, it can analyze things, and like you can work like that. But for this, it works. So any ideas for prompts.
NodeGen node itself.
It doesn't know what the nodes.
But yeah, describe nodes that communicates with them.
No, they
Getting crazy.
so GPT to create this C-sharp. I would have to give the whole template. Create this C-sharp function and save it in a file. It would probably do something, but let's see. I'm not really indicating the progress, but okay. ChatGPT function generated. It broke everything. That can happen if it like does something that doesn't compile. Right. Then it breaks the solution. We can see, okay, right. It tries to import like the OpenAI. Like like an OpenAI library to do the communication. So it like if okay, I would have to fix that, right? We have using OpenAI. I don't have that in the environment. It doesn't do it, but okay, it would call to ChatGPT and it would save the file, like which is basically what it. So it could work, but it's expecting like an API key somewhere, and it's more like an unfinished thing. But also for starting out, you can do that. I will just delete it for now.
Suna has a problem.
And something maybe that would.
Suna has an opinion.
Suna has a prompt.
Yeah, I just also posted it in the chat.
Okay.
See if it can create a Windows activation key.
Okay.
Windows activation key.
I
could use the pro version. Thank you.
like your acceleration key.
It's part of the it's just box.
Yeah, let's see what that will do. This is normal behavior. It will clear the output and then we will fail to generate until it returns. That still needs to be cleaned up. Each call will this is connecting to the API of OpenAI, right? And I'm only allowing you to put it in the environment variable. I don't want anyone to put their API keys into patches. It will usually take about like half a cent to like 2 cents per generation, depending on the complexity of the function. So Windows activation key retrieve window activation key. Okay. It's kind of empty, but I don't know.
It would have been a cheap Windows.
But it it's doing something, okay. Windows activation key.
Maybe it's still generating.
Yes, so it will. Oh wow! Select from software licensing service for management feature.
It probably actually works. It's what Microsoft uses.
Okay, it does. I think like the use cases that I show, right? Like having some math animation function generating like.
Formulas. You know the super formula?
What is super formula?
It's called the super formula.
Yeah,
I don't know, generate a node using the super formula. How would we formulate it?
I don't know. Do a super formula.
Super formula.
It's one word. One word.
One word. Maybe look at it.
That's a different thing.
I don't know what the inputs and outputs are for the super formula.
In the meantime, I will, like the heart of this and of a lot of like generative AI applications, right, is the prompt. So there is it. We have generate.NET C#, puts C# code according to the following template. We have the template that basically starts with the C# template. I'm doing some things as sort of like that they should be replaced. Some things I'm replacing immediately, like date, because if you ask ChatGPT to do today's date, it will be very wonky. It will like do. It will give you a date, but it won't be now. And right, there's some specifics. Created meaningful class name. Then I parsed it out and I use that as the file name to save it. That also results in sometimes overwriting the file. That's something that could be improved. Name the function arguments well. Namespace name is namespace. This is something that I feed in based on you provided like the project directory, so it will give the namespace name, and use IEnumerable for lists. So we stick to the kind of VL way, and then here comes the prompt. Ensure that you stick to template, implement all functions, and respond with C# code alone. So I don't get anything else, but then I parse it out with regex.
Weird comments or stuff.
Yeah, like you could. Oh, of course I can do that. Here is your code, and you pay for that shit.
So it only works with the paid version.
This is with the API. It's like the paid version, you get the interface and you can use it in your browser session, but it's not something that you can actually call as an API.
Mhm.
That's like a separate thing where you just put some credits on it, and it will charge you based on the usage. It's like two separate ways. Is there an easier way to do like group regex matching? I don't know. I ended up with this insane patch to do that. But it takes out the code, it takes out the class name, and then saves it. I have this node writer that can just create those nodes like separate out of AI.
Do exactly this, no?
Yeah. Yeah,
If we just have the node for just generating regex string, that would save like.
Yeah. Anyways, and this is there's another library. So this library is VL.NodeGen. It's a NuGet, and there's also VL OpenAI Simple, which is also NuGet. I saw that there's VL OpenAI versionable builder 3 years ago. It doesn't have all the models, and I only found it when I tried to push this VL OpenAI NuGet, and it was like 403. Like, what is that? It was already there. And this is the only node I exposed. Just chat. You can push in something, and you kind of get a list of messages, and you can communicate with the AI. And let's see if we got something. Super formula calculator. Wow. Super formula calculate super formula. N values.
Yeah, that will
N values.
Yeah.
And two values. And what is this?
It makes me a note
Yeah,
that
spread.
explains the super.
So it gave us a spread from the spread.
I thought it would be a spread of vector 2 in the end, no? To like points around.
I could ask you to.
There's also a three that, yeah, it's a question. What are the floats now representing?
I said only vector 2.
You didn't ask that.
Let's see that's better. But yeah, so I guess let's see what the code was. Super formula generated. It's another one now. Super formula generated. Generate super formula. Result sequence to vector.
No.
But these are not.
That's
Listen. That's
cool.
that is cool. Okay, so we get 10 points. Let's expand this.
Probably 5,000 or something.
Now
500.
Can someone like explain in brief what is the super formula?
Just visualize it, then you see it. It's just
It creates a lot of different shapes from one formula that are
okay.
very interesting, and you can
Okay.
perfectly use it for generative use.
Okay.
For nice defaults.
Is it? Oh, it yeah. But that's the kind of thing why it would be great to have like the thing that you can iterate on the node, right? Because when it regenerates it in Scratch, you're gonna end up with something slightly different, and it may change the naming, and then the links are not gonna be ideal. But let's see. So we have the points. We have all these beautiful visualizers and what happens. Okay, that was getting some. Okay. Oh, I don't know. Okay, that's a circle. That's not a number. Okay. I don't know. This is
Maybe the minus is not. Yeah.
Okay. A circle and a dot.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Give
Okay.
it more points.
I'm giving it more points.
Make them smaller.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
starting to look interesting.
Low res Pac-Man.
It's possible that you need like 200 points or 500.
Whoa.
And very small ones. It does quite complicated, elaborate.
Is it, see, and it's like increasing the sample rate, right? Right. It's not like, which is nice. It's like the resolution,
Yeah.
and we're getting, yeah. I know we can just put an L4 on this one. That's the nice thing, right? Command D. You get this like node, and then you can just integrate it immediately into all the real time.
That's real generative work in a way. This is how the universe came out about. Suddenly it all worked together after hundreds of years.
By the way, you were asking about this, like how you drag on your link. You cannot drag, but you can at least like click on it and create.
But that creates errors 50% of the time for me. Even a simple multiply comes up red. So that doesn't work for me.
The other question was about deleting links, and I think once shift, press hold shift, right? I think. No,
Little mouse.
it just selects the links.
Whoa. It's getting.
There's like a control or shift, I forgot. One of them. And then it only selects links. You know what I mean?
No.
And then you can just delete them.
Yeah. That's how I do it. But
Control or shift.
it's really extremely fast if you just hold Y and go through them, because you can be very elaborate what you want to delete and what you don't want to delete. With selecting it's a bit more cumbersome if they are not nodes.
Does this look like the super formula?
I don't have it.
It looks like a formula.
It is, and it's super. Yeah. I don't know.
But it
Just
has
look
this
up
weird
super formula
pattern.
at Google, then you know what it is. There's
Okay.
a lot of.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
it
all right.
could actually be. Yeah.
That concludes the demo, I think.
Super cool.
Awesome.